In my previous video, I wondered, what if Vanguard went bust? Today, I'll continue this subject with some extra attention given to the FSCS and that well-known 85k guaranteed protection. Hey, I'm Marta, welcome back to my channel. As some of you know, my stock and shares ISA with Vanguard is worth over 50k. And because this number is close to 85k, I often seem to be getting comments like this one, and this one, or this one. There's more, of course, but you get the drift. I always assume these words come from a good place. You know, they're a sign of genuine care. And of course, I'm very grateful for that. At the same time, I cannot help but wonder how clear that 85k protection by the FSCS is to a beginner investor. You see, my experience is this. Somebody sees my Vanguard portfolio and thinks, ooh, that's close to the maximum protected amount. She'd better watch out. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with this train of thought, as long as you understand how that FSCS protection actually works. Well, you know what's going to happen now. I will ask you what I call the F word actually is. FSCS. It stands for Financial Services Compensation Scheme. And it works only with financial companies regulated by FCA, another multi-letter thing, Financial Conduct Authority. Remember from the previous video, the guy's making sure your money is held in a separate account to Vanguard's money. It's not only a separate account, but also a third-party account, so no Vanguard holding your assets in another Vanguard account, for example. And that is a huge assurance. That is a lot of safety. FSCS are here to protect you if things go really, really bad. And they are the last resort. So the usual understanding is the one that applies to money you'd hold in a bank. Let's say you keep 100k in a Lloyds bank and Lloyds goes bust. You know that they will return you your 85k. Now, two things to remember here. If that 100k were in a joint account, you'd get all of your money back, as the FSCS protection applies to 170k in case of joint accounts. In other words, 85k times 2. This is useful to know. Also, another useful thing to know is that the 85k protection applies to a financial institution, not an account. So if, for example, you have £85,000 in a Halifax bank, but also 50k in a Bank of Scotland, because these two are owned by one institution, Bank of Scotland, you will only be entitled to the first 85k. It's really worth keeping in mind if you store plenty of cash in bank accounts and want to spread it to manage risk. Of course, I hope you don't keep a lot of money in bank accounts because it will be eaten by the cookie monster, inflation. Oh, if you're not sure who owns what in terms of banks in the UK, you can use this website to check which financial institutions owns which bank. So we can type in Halifax, and here we are. Who owns Halifax and other banks? I'm leaving the link in the description of this video, so check it out if you need to. Okay, so we know how it works with bank accounts. You get your first 85k back automatically within 7 days. No questions asked. Simple. What about cash ISAs? Pretty much the same rules as in case of bank accounts. Now, what about investments? Our stocks and shares ISA. It's a different story altogether. So we're interested in Vanguard. So let's see how different it is. If you're an investor, it should be clear to you that any funds you buy are considered shopping at your own risk. If a fund goes to zero, you're on your own. They're considered shares of a company, so their poor performance has nothing to do with the FSCS protection. That's the nature of investments. Okay, there's an exception. You had no idea what you were doing. You were simply following a financial advisor's advice. And it was a very bad advice. And then they went bust. In other words, you took an awfully bad investment advice. Then you can try and get that 85k compensation from FSCS. But this is something we're not interested in here. We're Vanguard investors and we simply want to know, what if the Vanguard Group goes bust? Can we get our 85k or not? Well, as I said in this video a few days ago, your money is not in the same account as Vanguard's money. And when Vanguard goes bust, you still own the funds. You temporarily lost your investment manager. So what is this 85k protection for in the first place? Administration costs. If Vanguard goes bust, it will need to deal with the cost of returning or transferring its clients, your or mine, money. Most companies have money set aside for such an event. Call it an emergency fund of sorts. But if they did not have enough money, or the administrators decide that it's not enough, they have a right to use some of your money and investments to deal with this very problem. And when they do so, when they do touch your money, you have a right to apply for that 85k FSCS compensation. What else is it for? A shortfall. Always a shortfall. If for whatever reason the money is missing, in other words, it's lost, then that shortfall is covered by up to 85k by the FSCS. Okay, so cheat sheet, let's summarize. Money held in your bank account or in a cash ISA, pretty much the same. Up to 85k, FSCS, guaranteed protection, pretty much automatic. You get your money back, all done. If Vanguard UK goes bust, you still have your shares of the fund. It's only the platform that went bust. So these funds get transferred and you carry on investing. If for whatever reason they're not there, the shortfall is covered by the FSCS, again up to 85k. If Vanguard fund goes bust, your assets are still there as they held in a separate account to theirs. Remember, they all separate companies, as I mentioned in my previous video. So they will be liquidated or transferred. And again, if there's a shortfall, for whatever reason, you covered up to 85k. If the Vanguard Group goes bust, your assets are still there. All we're missing is an investment manager and they will be appointed by the funds. Now let's be extreme. What if they all go bust at the same time? Because your assets are held in a custodian bank, they all will be either transferred to a new fund or sold and transferred to you. And again, in case of a shortfall, the 85k FSCS guaranteed protection is there. And finally, what if the custodian banks also go bust? Well, then we're screwed and most likely you will need a treasury bailout. So as you can see, all these reasons why you would need to actually apply for that 85k compensation are more to do with the company's honesty than anything else. Vanguard, because of its unique structure, is owned by its investors. So that trust and honesty is already established. There are people who keep millions in the ISA and they sleep well at night because they know that in case of anything going wrong, the company is trustworthy enough to know that they will not steal your funds. So that's it, everybody. This is how the 85k FSCS guaranteed protection works in case of simple cash accounts and Vanguard. Hope you found this video useful. Hope you learned something new. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and share with others. It really helps my channel to grow. Thank you very much for watching and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.